What's going on, YouTube land? Jerry here, back at it. So I wanted to do a follow-up on my very long-winded video that I posted entitled My First Motovlog. So basically what happened that day was that was the test run of me setting up this whole motovlog situation here. I had just put the mic, attached it to the camera with the mic adapter, set it up in my helmet, pretty much did everything as instructed by Shade Tree Surgeon out of Tampa there. Followed his kind of tutorial on how to set one up and get the proper sound and all that jazz. So I went out to basically just see what it would sound like. I cut a lot of it out, and a lot of the stuff that I cut out was me saying, I bet you I'm gonna end up scrapping this entire video because it's probably gonna sound like garbage. But yeah, after getting all the footage loaded up on the computer, and I was listening to it and checking it over, and I realized, shoot man, this actually sounds really good. So I said, well, let's try my hand at editing and see what I can come up with. So I took over an hour's worth of footage and condensed it down to, I think that video came out to something like 35 minutes or something. I know that the people that I sent it to, I'm sure that none of them watched the entire thing. But I did, and you know, I think I did a pretty good job on the edits, and I'm gonna work on doing transitions and all that kind of stuff. And I'd like to obviously, I think the next step would be for me to record or at least crop together some sort of intro, because that definitely seems like the professional way to go. All the quality content motovloggers or even YouTubers always have some sort of intro, whether it's just a video with some music behind it, or a couple of cuts of riding footage, and maybe me doing something silly because I'm a silly goose, and then just, you know, throwing up the name of the channel and, you know, something along those lines. I might get around to doing that eventually. For now, this is still, I'm still in the trial and error mode of this setup. So what I wanted to do today, it's Tuesday after work. Basically just wanted to get out here, ride around a little bit, enjoy the weather, and talk about what my plans are for the channel, plus a recap on some of the stuff that I failed to mention in the last really long video that not everyone watched all the way through. So to recap on the video, there was a couple of points that I was trying to make that I didn't follow through with, or if I did, I cut a lot of it out because it was literally just a bunch of rambling. So what I really want to do is I want to talk about, I was discussing it with my buddy Trevor last night, that I don't necessarily want the things that I talk about to be strictly motorcycle related, even though I think that's why most people would end up finding this channel, or just motovlogging in general, is that it's usually based around talking motorcycles, talking bikes, talking about the biker community and the various things that happen surrounding that community. But I don't, you know, yeah, I ride a motorcycle, but I don't consider myself a biker. I do enjoy going to the events and stuff. Like I said, my last one, I did go for the first weekend of Bike Week, but I'm not thrilled with those kind of events. One, I've gotten to the point where I barely drink anymore. I would like to say it's by choice, but I'll tell you, unless I'm just drinking straight whiskey for the evening, if I have any sort of beer which I do enjoy certain ones. Calusa Brewery here in Sarasota, fantastic beer. But if I have anything else other than just some sipping whiskey, I wake up with the worst hangover, and I'm not productive the day after. And I don't like being that way anymore. My days of sleeping in until 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and just laying around being a lazy bum, I hope are over. Yeah, there is some weekends where I sleep in. It's usually on Sundays because my fiance works on Saturdays and her weekends are Sundays and Mondays. So Sundays are usually our days where we can kind of relax a bit, maybe go out, grab a bite to eat, you know, just kind of get into stuff, whatever we want to do. So I don't drink often. So I don't like going to the big, you know, meetups, the big events, where pretty much everybody, the only thing they want to do is just, you know, ride to the event and then just sit around and drink all day. What I like doing, which I had a blast hanging out with my boss, my aunt, and my uncle in Daytona, because they're older folks and they like to ride, and they ride easy. You know, that's another thing that I don't like doing. I mean, yeah, you know, mobbing around town is fun at times, cutting in and out of traffic, you know, carrying on, it's fun at times. But let's face it, man, we live in Florida, and there's a lot of motorcycle related accidents and incidents that happen down here because no one knows how to drive and no one can see, apparently. So, you know, being ridiculous and acting like a fool is not my forte these days. So they like to ride slow and steady, and we like to see things. You know, if we're going to the event, we want to see all the, you know, all the vendors, all the stuff they bring to show off, whether it's bike builds or just, you know, inventory, parts and accessories and stuff. Plus the, you know, the kind of the showy aspect of it. I think they had a wall of death that we didn't actually watch, but it was there where we were. But, you know, that aspect of it, like being a part of the motorcycle community, riding the bike there, enjoying yourself while you're there, and then leaving, I do like that aspect. And we went, me and my buddy Dana and his wife Audra, we went to Leesburg 2 years ago. That was a fun ride, because that's about, for us to get there, I think it took us about maybe 2.5 hours, because we did take some back roads to get there to just kind of prolong the trip a little bit. And that was a good time. And, you know, we walked around, we saw some cool stuff. What ended up being funny about Leesburg, at least where we went, was we made it to the main Harley dealership in Leesburg, and there was so much stuff happening there. There was so many vendors and things going on there that we ended up staying there for the majority of the day. And once we got our fill of that, we were actually thinking about going home, and you know, and someone said, well, you got to at least ride, you know, through downtown Leesburg and check that out. And it's kind of the same thing. If you've never been to Leesburg, it's kind of the same thing as like what happens at Bike Week on Main Street, is where they have, you know, the whole main kind of, and of course it could even be called Main Street there in Leesburg, but the main street that goes through the little like downtown historic section of Leesburg, they close it off, and it's, you know, bike traffic only and foot traffic only, and that's where a lot of the vendors set up. And of course, and all the bars are open for you to, you know, pop in and get a drink, and they've got food and all that good stuff. That's a wiener dog. So we had a blast, but we didn't get to really enjoy the downtown aspect of You see what I mean about people not knowing how to drive here? It's ridiculous. We really enjoyed ourselves at the Harley dealership, but we didn't really get to experience too much of the downtown area, the main street, if you will, of Leesburg. We stayed there for a few minutes. We, you know, had a beer or two, but it was getting late in the day, and we were gonna, we literally only did a day trip where we rode up that morning, rode back that evening, and it was, I think we did a little over 300 miles that day, but we had a blast. It was fun. So I like the ride, going there and coming back, and I like hanging around and, you know, seeing like-minded individuals. But I am definitely not the person that goes to an event just to get smashed and then hop back on the bike like a moron. And unfortunately, a lot of people do that. I don't know why, but they do. And that's how accidents happen, and people get hurt and sometimes lose their lives. And that's not cool. That's not to say that I'm not going to be going to those events. Obviously, now that I have the, you know, whole camera set up here and I can chit chat with you guys while I'm recording it, I would like to definitely attend more of them and at least be able to capture some of it, especially for, like I said in my last video, my friends and family that don't get to come down here and see me, or at least not very often, or my friends that ride up north that, you know, don't get to experience some of the biker culture in Florida. Because, you know, the nice thing about Florida, like I said before, is that, you know, we can ride just about all year round, and it really, you know, it makes it fun, because throughout the entire year there's some sort of happening going on down here when it comes to the motorcycle community. So you can always get into something. Sometimes you might have a little bit, you know, more clothing and gear on. Sometimes you might have a little less. But either way, we can ride and we can enjoy ourselves and have a great time. One of the bike events that I've gone to the last 2 years in a row that they've had it is FLMM, or FLIM, as most of us Floridians are calling it now, which, if I'm not mistaken, is short for Florida Moto Meetup. And what that is Blockhead from Orlando, who is another motovlogger, he basically just said, you know, we need our own kind of get-together, a place that's not confined to the, you know, only Harleys or only sport bikes or, you know, only, you know, Euro bikes or anything like that. Like, basically a happening that we can all go to. Doesn't matter what you're riding, as long as you're on two wheels. And, you know, check your egos at the door, basically. And so that's what they did, and I went the first year, and it was amazing. And I did end up getting there late because I had a situation with the bike. I had to get a front tire put on it, actually, because the front tire was just chopped up like crazy. So I ended up getting there late, but I still had a blast. I was able to be there for probably about maybe 3 hours out of the all-day event, but thoroughly enjoyed myself, and had to make the trip again. And so I did it last year, had a blast. I hope that when they do it again this year, it's usually in November, that I'll be able to take this setup here with me and capture it and you know, get the essence of what it is, because they have it at Ace Cafe in Orlando, which is the only other Ace Cafe outside of the UK. I think England or London is where the other one is, the original one is. But it's a really cool restaurant slash bar slash motorcycle accessory gear kind of store. And it's a really big spot. They've got a couple of bars. So what they do is they block off the entire place just for us, for this Florida Moto Meetup. And they've got vendors outside. They've got restaurants that set up grills and whatnot to get food from, and it's just a really great time. And like I said, there's all walks of life up there. You've got big groups of sport bike guys, you've got Harley guys, you've got the Euro bikes, like your cafe racers and all that. Just a really cool time. A lot of great people. And I think the neatest thing is that they're all there because of the YouTube motorcycle community, like the motovloggers, because there was a lot of people that were in attendance that all did the same thing. You had Blockhead, obviously, who put it on. You had Shade Tree Surgeon from Tampa area, Ybor City. You had John Maxwell from Georgia, the Harley Tech. He was there. You had Walter Riffick, which I think is out of Virginia now. I think he's out of like West Virginia or Maryland. I think it might be Maryland. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Maryland. There's a lot of guys there. A lot of people that I don't actually follow, like Photogrammer. Do It With Dan, I think, was there the first year. I don't think he was there the second year. But anyways, really great time. But everyone was there because of kind of the love for the motorcycle community, not just because it's a bike event that you have to go if you're a Harley owner, or that you have to go if you're a Suzuki owner or anything like that. Like there was no kind of there was no single type of person there. It was literally all walks of life. One thing that I didn't talk about, or I didn't finish talking about on the long-winded video, was the fact that I just started to say it and I lost track. What a lot of the other motovlog guys do, the YouTube guys, is they pretty much kind of have a itinerary set for themselves when they make these videos, whether it's not necessarily a script, but basically guidelines on what they want to talk about, or just a specific topic in general to discuss what the whole kind of video is going to be about. So that's what I want to do when it comes to this channel. I want to be able to, like I said, not just strictly talk about motorcycle related stuff, which naturally that's going to come up anyways because I'm on a motorcycle. But I would like to just discuss regular things, regular happenings throughout life. And I really don't want to get into politics because I'm not a fan of politics. And I don't want to get into religion. That kind of stuff I'll save for the podcast that my buddy Logan and I will eventually get into. But just daily life, whether it's work or whether it's hobbies that I have or that everyone else has, or I might try to maybe get some, if I can figure out this whole setting up a phone call and be able to capture that audio in the camera as well. I might be able to set that up to where I can have somebody call me and we can chit chat, kind of like a dual talking head type situation. To recap, I would like to set up some sort of intro for the video, have some topics that I can talk about, and I would like to, each time I go out for a ride, go someplace different. Now that's going to be hard to do because I live in a small area, technically, and you can only ride so many roads without really going far away from home. But I'll try my best to give everyone a different point of view for at least most of the videos is my plan. So right now, I believe this is 64 east. So if I were to continue heading on this road, this would take me all the way to Mayaca, Arcadia. There's some cool little quote-unquote biker bars that are out on this kind of stretch out here. Basically just little dives that are destinations for motorcyclists because of the fact that riding these roads out here, yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere and it can get kind of sketchy at times, especially if the weather's bad or if you're low on gas, which I've been there. It's such a beautiful ride. And it's so peaceful because all you've got is the open road, which I'm gonna sort that out right now and pass this vehicle. So all you've got is the open road and beautiful scenery. So this is the life. If I could do this all day and get paid for it, I would. Who wouldn't? So anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut up and just ride for a little bit, capture some footage, and then I'm gonna try to turn around somewhere here because this is gonna start getting really long. But I know I'm gonna cut a lot of it out and piece it together, so it's not a half an hour long video like the last one.